Welcome to the Improve and Have Fun podcast. My name is Paul V. Perez, and on this podcast I work on improving myself while having fun along the way with the hopes of encouraging you to do the same. And I do so by documenting my life and interests. And on this episode I'm going to be talking about my 30-year sex addiction. And let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to read to you this article that I wrote. I like to play a game where I reflect on my life and think, if I can go back in time to my 15-year-old self, what advice would I give myself? And the number one piece of advice I'd say would be to not watch or masturbate to porn. Why? It's caused a 30-year addiction which has devolved from regular porn to transgender porn and seeing sex workers. The fixation began in childhood. Compared to my friends and family, I felt I wasn't very good looking. I was awkward when talking to girls, well into adulthood, and my confidence was low. Porn was a comforting escape. It wouldn't deny me, and it's always there. What has this dependency cost me? Thousands of dollars and time. Lots of time. Sex addiction is isolation, shame, and fear of living. I've been seeing prostitutes for the last 3 years plus, and sometimes they'd be nice. Other times they just went through the motions. Sometimes they were just waiting for me to leave. When I say they were nice, they would allow me, on most occasions, not always, to have unprotected sex with them, and I also would ask the same in return. They wouldn't watch the clock, and I asked for a massage, and either they would massage me or I'd massage them. That was like the thing that really gets me, right? It starts off wanting sex, but ends with seeking intimacy which is never there. Fears of catching an STD, STI, getting arrested, or hurt by going to a dangerous part of town in the middle of the night never deterred the craving for the variety, the danger, and the orgasm. That's where the addiction comes in. When the withdrawals begin, it wants to be satisfied and will do what it must. It hasn't been all bad, but I don't want to live like this forever. I am actively working on conquering this compulsion and having some success. Listening to porn addiction podcasts, reading books on the subject matter have educated me. Therapy has helped as well, which I've been actively doing the last 2 to 3 years. Dating is something I'm beginning again, which is tough when paying for sex has been so easy. I also consume lots of MGTOW content, men going their own way. This mode of thinking discourages marriage and relationships due to the divorce rate and financial bankruptcy for men. That scares me. Being a child of divorced parents and witnessing a version of this firsthand, I use this as an excuse to continue my sex addiction, but I ended up back in square one, longing for real connection, yearning for someone who wants me. I've been researching semen retention and the Karezza form of lovemaking. These ideas excite me and make me look forward to getting into a relationship. I don't want kids or marriage, but a girlfriend possibly cohabitating. Transmutation is also of interest, the spreading of sexual energy and recycling it in other parts of my body. Changing these bad habits into repeated positive actions is tough. It is the biggest challenge of my life, and failure will happen, but I will continue to push through. Now, I published this in the podcast form about 3 days ago, and I've gotten some feedback. There was one listener who told me, like, why deny a fetish? That's obviously what you have, in the sense of, like, I have a fetish for trans women and for pegging, right? And it made me think, it really made me think, like, maybe I just shouldn't shut the door on this. But on the flip side, like, if I do actually want to get into a relationship, I would want to seek someone who's interested in doing these things with me, definitely. But if you're going through a sex addiction, I will go ahead and leave some links to, like I said, podcasts, possibly Sexaholics Anonymous, and resources and tools that have helped me. If you have any thoughts or comments, please do so below on this video. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you listening. And likes and subscribers, that's cool, but I always prefer that we get a conversation going, and you could do so once again in the comments below. My podcast is more of a self-expression podcast, so this is not the only thing that I talk about, but check out my other content. That's at improveandhavefun.com. And if not, then if this video has helped you, then just let me know. Thank you so much.